Why do you need them polished exactly?
I got tired of them looking all nasty looking.
Why do you have to talk about your penis like that?
Well,
Right?
you know, it's good to polish your
Penny.
penis every now and again.
Is that what you call it now? What's everybody else been up to?
I hate you.
I've actually been rewatching Buffy,
Mm-hmm.
and
How'd that go?
yeah,
The
I mean,
first season
I
was
haven't
all
finished all of it.
Oh,
But-
okay. Well, I mean, technically, we're hit TV, but
Yeah.
it's funny because I remember I tried to rewatch that a couple of months ago. And
I
for
have
some
to say the first season's still a little rough.
Oh, that's a lot rough. Yeah. But for some reason, it just wasn't hitting me right. So I kind of stepped away from it and watched some other stuff.
Well, I was hoping the healing, because every time that I was sick, I would always watch Buffy and start to feel better towards the end of the day. So I was hoping that magic worked with animals, specifically puppies.
I did see. What did I see? You guys made the puppy watch the other day. Was it an anime that you posted? What was it? Something.
We watched National Treasure.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was that. I can't remember.
Oh,
Did you
she
post?
was into National Treasure, man.
Hey, National Treasure is a fun movie.
Too bad it's garbage.
You wrong about that, sir. That movie it is not an artistic classic, but it is a fun movie.
It's not good.
I
Fun.
mean,
It is so fun to watch, and the second one's good too.
No,
Well-
I will absolutely go against you on that. That second one is dog shit.
I actually kind of enjoy the second one as well, only because I like the characters, but I know it's not good.
Honestly, the reason we
But I like
wanted
it.
to watch National Treasure is we wanted something we didn't have to pay attention to, and we wanted that like brain dead Indiana Jones kind of puzzly
Oh,
movie.
Oh, dude, I got a great
Oh.
movie you can watch. It's called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
See, here's the thing about that one though. I would actively pay way more attention to
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
So
wanted
you're
something
missing
that
the
we
point.
didn't have to pay attention to.
So if you want to like try that again at some point, I suggest there's a movie from the 80s that is kind of hilarious, and it's like sort of, Walmart brand soda version of Indiana Jones called Alan Quartermain. Look that movie up and watch it. It's pretty funny because it literally is. They're like, someone was like, hey, let's get a good-looking, charismatic guy and get him to be like Indiana Jones, and that's what the movie is.
Well, I mean, that's the character of Alan Quartermain. So
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Do you know the books?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I haven't read them, but
You're
I've
aware
read
of them.
synopsises of them.
Yeah.
Synopses.
Synopsis.
Synopsisizes.
We've got a lot of big things to talk about. Let's move into it because Nathan actually has an opening story for us this week.
Yes, we have an opening story. Think Willy Wonka with a twist. The founder of the name Jelly Belly is launching a series of golden ticket treasure hunts across the country before his retirement. David Klein announced that there will be a big scavenger type hunt for these keys. And when you get these keys, you can win up to $5,000 for these initial keys. But the ultimate winner will win a key to a Jelly Belly factory. He said, you will be looking for a gold ticket in the form of a necklace with a tag that includes a code you need to use to verify your find. Winners will receive $5,000, but only one person will win the grand prize, which will be a factory.
I would love to have a Jelly Belly factory.
I don't know though. Does that come with like all the responsibilities? Like, do I have to go through the hiring process? Do I have to find managers? Do I have to do like the booking and accounting records? Nah, man.
Or is this just a vacant factory? You just own the building and there's nothing left
Exactly.
in it.
In which case, do I have to pay property taxes? What's the insurance going to be like?
Listen, if we all can play paintball in it, that'll be fine.
Well, I went ahead and bought a ticket because you had to buy a $50 ticket to go on this hunt, and they send you a riddle, and they're doing one key per state, and each state has a different date where they're going to give you a riddle. Tennessee's is October 8th. So on October 8th, I'm going to get a riddle, and somewhere in the state of Tennessee, I have to go find this key. And
That's going to be fun.
You compete with up to 1,000 people per state. So only the first 1,000 people who register for this raffle.
It's going to be in a hillbilly city that's not even a city in the middle of the mountains, and you will die.
Wrong turn.
Well, that'll be fun. I'm gonna go with him and film it anyway. So at least we'll have production
Yeah.
value.
So
Yeah,
I went ahead and bought the ticket, and I'm waiting for the riddle. And then Steven and I are going to go on a short Amazing Race little adventure.
It's gonna be great. It's our practice run for whenever Amazing Race comes back.
Yep.
Because we intend to win Amazing Race, and then Nathan's gonna go on Big Brother and realize all of his dreams.
But initially,
it's definitely a fun gimmick.
They are going to run each individual state, and if you find the first one to find the little neck tag, you'll win $5,000. And then they're going to do a huge national hunt with just the 50 people that found the keys.
Yeah.
And then those 50 people have to find the main key to win the factory.
Oh, we're going to find this key, baby. It's on. We're going to find it.
Imagine winning the factory and then turning it into like an Airbnb.
No,
exactly.
Turn it into a haunted house.
Or turn it into a studio.
Turn it into a studio that is also a haunted house seasonally.
Or you make a competing jelly bean.
I would be okay with that too, as long as I don't have to do too much work, because I could come up with some good Jelly Belly flavors.
We can call it dumbass beans.
Dumbass beans, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just somebody's balls anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's
cool beans, but like with like a menthol or mint flavor in each.
Delicious.
Here's your woo girl jelly bean.
Perfect. Then we can retire on Jelly Bellies. All right, let's talk about the box office. So, the box office this past weekend, the number 10 movie was The Rental. It made $22,000. It's made 1.5, almost 1.6 so far. Number 9 is Cutthroat City. That one made $56,000. Made $618,000 so far. Number 8 is Peninsula. At least it's still in the top 10. I'm happy about that. $59,000, almost $60,000 over the weekend. Made almost $851,000. Number 7 is Words on Bathroom Walls. That one made $275,000. Made $1.5 million so far. And I believe that one is out in physical media here in the next week or two also. Number 6 is The Personal History of David Copperfield. Made $327,000. It's made $990 so far. This is a funny thing that Zach actually noticed when we were at the theater today. Our side of the theater, every single screen had TENET, except for a couple of New Mutants, and this was
there
on
were
one screen.
3 movies playing at our theater of 21 screens. Literally 3 movies.
Okay, so number 5 was the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. It made $345,000. It's made $3.3 million so far.
Is this the third one or is this the second one?
I don't know.
And that's why it's making money.
One.
I have no clue.
Is this like a new release?
What, the SpongeBob movie?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like wondering, it's like this movie, like I thought it was the second one. That's why I was like, didn't this come out a few years ago? Why is it making so much money?
Oh, no. This is a new one. This is a new movie.
Okay.
Number 4 is Bill and Ted Face the Music. It made $773,000. It's made $2.2 million so far. I mean, I keep hearing this is pretty good. I'm shocked about that. I did not.
Yeah, but then again, it's a Bill and Ted movie, so.
Ouch.
So the bar is kind of low.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Number 3 is Unhinged. It made $1.8 million. It's made 11.4 so far. I mean, that to me, for this kind of low grade movie, is pretty banging money, to be honest with you.
I still want to see it.
I want to see it too. Number 2 is The New Mutants. It made $3 million. It's made $11.7 million so far. They're probably thankful for every dollar of that. Who's typing right now?
Nobody.
Nico.
You know, somebody was typing.
Ravenously. And number 1 over the weekend was Tenet, opening new. It made $20 million.
That's not bad.
No, and we have a story Zach's going to get to in just a second about that kind of talks more about some interesting aspects of the money that it made. But before we get there, the Dune trailer.
Is that what we saw before the film?
No.
No.
So because, so when Tenet
I
came
didn't
out,
get to watch it because I was comatose when Nico got home. I didn't see it until afterwards.
So when we went and saw Tenet today, and Tenet essentially when you go see some IMAX movies, they have like the first 5 minutes of this other upcoming movie. Like if you went and saw Rise of Skywalker, they had the first scene from Tenet attached. So what they had was they didn't have a trailer, but they had a teaser for the trailer that wasn't the teaser for the trailer that was released. It was like a longer teaser trailer, which was
basically
bizarre.
showed the entire cast.
Yeah, it was bizarre because it's like on September 9th, the trailer for Dune. I'm like, why don't you just show it now?
Yeah, well, I asked Zach. I didn't realize it was September 9th. I'm like, oh, well, yeah. Why do I have to go home and watch it on my computer?
Well, yeah, it's like send it to the theaters. Like, what? So that was weird. I was like,
weird.
yes, the
I
Dune
wasn't able to
trailer's
watch
attached.
actual
It's
trailer
not the
yet,
Dune
then.
trailer.
So me and Nico and Zach are the only ones that saw it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well,
So glad y'all did your homework.
not surprised at all, but I thought it was beautiful. I've
heard good things about it.
It looks really good.
I'm not familiar with what the story is supposed to be. Is it like a Mad Max type world?
No.
Well,
this is more hard sci-fi than that.
It's super sci-fi. It is very deserty, so that's the Mad Max bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I'm really impressed with the cast they have with it.
I'm a little worried about the cast they have with it because Timothée Chalamet is going to either make or break this movie.
It has my girl in it. It has Rebecca Ferguson though, and she's great.
Zendaya.
If you don't know who Rebecca Ferguson is, she is the Mad Hatter woman from Dr. Sleep, and she's also
really? Okay.
Yeah, and she's also in the last two Mission Impossible movies.
Whoa, really?
Yeah,
that's her.
That's her. She's great. She was in the one.
She looks so different in those.
I have liked her for a long time.
It's almost like she's an actress.
Yeah, I know. I know. But if Tom Cruise is in something, you suddenly just don't go, oh my God, I couldn't believe that was Tom Cruise. You go, oh, it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah. No, that's her. I think she's a great pick for the movie. I'm excited for it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the trailer doesn't. It's funny because I have not read the books. The only experience I have with Dune is I've seen the original David Lynch movie. Didn't like it that much, to be honest with you. I thought it was a little bit
following for it.
Yeah, there really is. I found the original movie to be a little bit too up its own butt and surreal for being surreal. I liked the miniseries on Sci-Fi.
I was going to say, so it was a David Lynch movie.
Right. Yeah, well, you're exactly right. And that works for me sometimes. Like I really love Blue Velvet, but for some reason it didn't work for me for Dune. But I liked the miniseries a lot.
I haven't actually seen the David Lynch movie. I've only seen the Sci-Fi miniseries, and it was pretty good. But it's also been so long since I've seen it.
So it's one of those things. It's almost like, in a way, kind of like explaining the Phantom Menace, except this movie will actually be good. It's like there's a lot of political sort of chess playing that happens across planets. They don't even mention the spice in the trailer, which
the spice must flow. The
spice must flow. It's so integral to the story, and it wasn't even mentioned. It feels like the trailer focuses on.
I mean, they showed the spice.
Yeah, it's in the desert, and yeah, they showed it, but I feel like they're trying to focus almost like on a Luke Skywalker-y kind of thing. It's like I'll focus on the growth of this one leader or something.
I mean, that is also kind of like the main thing is the growth of Paul Atreides, but
yeah,
I mean, maybe they're just trying to out Star Wars, which would not be hard.
Would not be hard to do right now. Yeah.
I'll be right back. So continue.
Okay. But it looks really good. I mean, it how could it not? I mean, it's got like a powerhouse director behind it.
I mean, it's almost incredible that Warner Brothers is like, yeah, we're going to spend another $200 million or so and take the director of Blade Runner 2049, just say, yep, here you go.
But you know what, though? Here's the thing that happens with that, because Blade Runner 2049 was kind of a box office flop. It really was.
That's why I'm saying it was.
It
was a fluke that Warner Brothers said, yeah, sure, we can do it.
I don't think so, because the thing about Blade Runner 2049 is it's a set of laurels that they've been able to wear since that movie came out, because it's one of those that people who actually see it love it.
It has also found an audience. They just didn't go see it in the theater.
Exactly. Yeah, it found its audience. It does hurt because that movie is so cinematic. But yeah, I'm not surprised. He's one of those visionary directors you take a chance on, and they do. So they threw him a bunch of money, and it looks cool.
Do you think this will be an R-rated version, or do you think they're gonna go child friendly?
I don't think it'll be child friendly, but I bet you it'll be PG-13.
I think
child
PG-13.
friendly.
Yeah. Well,
Not child non-antagonistic.
I'd say I call it family friendly, not child friendly. If you're going to go full on child, then you're going, PG or G, But I feel like this is also the kind of story that it doesn't necessarily need an R rating. I mean, it's not like some hardcore sex and violence and, language and it's not that kind of story. That would be like asking me if Star Wars is going to be R rated. No.
It could be.
Well,
it could be.
No one needs that though.
They almost made an M-rated Star Wars game and then they pussied out. So
it's kind of like how shocked everybody was when Quentin Tarantino said he wanted to do an R-rated Star Trek. It seems so out of character for the franchise. It's just not necessary.
And then Picard came out and they were saying F-bombs and nobody flinched.
And to be fair, it kind of worked. I liked Picard, so there you go. All right, so let's move on to the elephant in the room. We're going to talk about Tenet for just a second. We're not going to spoil anything.
No spoilers.
And we won't be spoiling anything for a while because no. I really liked this movie, and it's funny. It's like it feels like for me the same experience I had with Inception, where I came out and I liked it, and then the more I soaked it in and thought about it and got home and vegetated over it, I liked it even better. I think I've been looking at the critical rating and stuff, and the critical rating for it and Inception are in about the same spot. So it's not, if you like that movie, you're going to like this movie. It doesn't look to me like any other movie I've seen since the last Nolan sci-fi movie, since Interstellar. Or even more important in Inception.
Yeah, I would say this is more in line with Inception visually than Interstellar.
For sure. I'm just thinking of Nolan's visual style because, a lot of other filmmakers doing stuff like the directors of the new Bad Boys movie, for example. I enjoyed that movie, but it looks like a knockoff of Michael Bay. This guy, Nolan, has his style, and it's beautiful, and it doesn't look like anything else that's coming out.
I am firmly in the camp of it is too early for me to say to be on your side.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's totally cool because this is a movie that is going to require 2 or 3 viewings to finally piece everything out. And
Inception did.
Like Inception did, yeah. The first time you were just like, wow, this is so complex. This is like Inception on steroids. To where if you are not paying attention, you're going to lose, you're going to miss something. And this movie goes real quick. Like at 2 hours and 31 minutes.
It's a fast clip.
It's like, man, can we get another 10 minutes in here just to just to explain everything to the audience so we're 100% sure before we go in? No, we can't do that. Okay. It's definitely an IMAX movie. If you can and you have access to an IMAX theater, please, for the sake of the audio, see it in that format because over half the movie is shot in IMAX.
It's surprising just how much IMAX you actually get.
And some people were like, I couldn't tell a difference. Well, I could.
I'm the blind guy, and every time it went IMAX, I was like,
every time it's like,
yeah, it's like, let me sit back. Go ahead.
I enjoyed the concept. I enjoyed the movie. I wasn't bored at all. But it's also one of those movies I was like,
if you are bored during Tenet,
let him finish his thing.
I don't have to see it again. Like, I'm just like, okay, that was cool.
Yeah, but see, the reason I question you about that is when you text me and you tell me you didn't understand it, that means You probably should see it again. You really probably should.
When you send a text, a video explaining what Tenet is, and you send a YouTube video where it gives a breakdown of the story. Okay, I'm like, I understand the basic concept.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but if I have to have a YouTube video tell me,
you shouldn't have to have a YouTube video.
Yeah.
You should be able to sit down with the film again and get that. Now, if you cannot get that from the film and only a YouTube video explains
why would
that
I
is a fault of the
watch
film.
it in my living room if it's so much better on IMAX? I'm like, I don't feel like I should pay to go see it in IMAX again, and I really don't care to see it on my television in the living room again.
Well, okay, so no, I don't. Now I'm gonna go to the theater and see it again for sure.
Yeah.
Now here's the other thing about it too, and this is not any, and we're like I said, we're staying away from spoilers, but this is something I think that I know
we're staying away almost from the plot, just even saying what it's about.
Because I don't want to take that from anybody.
Yeah.
But I think that Nico in particular, along with Zach, will appreciate this. And this was the thing, I found myself a few times in this movie laughing. I was so giddy with watching it because I understand now, after seeing it, why Nolan and Warner Brothers were so insistent that this be played and seen in a theater. Because if there ever was in the last 10 years a movie that is a celebration of seeing a movie in the theater, it is this one. And it's because first thing that Zach asked me when we came out, did you see any CGI? And my answer was, well, there's one spot, but I don't know if it was editing or if it was just my eyes. So I thought about it and I really didn't. And I've been researching since I've been home. Like I came home to take a nap.
Like all those behind the scenes featurettes and you're like, where's the green screen? I don't see any.
I found it. There is no green screen. There is none. There's some long chase sequences on a road. They closed 11 kilometers of a major highway for 3 weeks to do everything, including the car flip that you see in the trailers and commercials. It happens backwards. That happened. There's miniatures in this. Miniatures. No one uses miniatures anymore except Christopher Nolan, rather than do CG. I mean, they were talking with his cinematographer in some. Don't look up the bonus features, by the way; they're too spoilery.
Hey, just to segue. Can we read the story first before we continue even more Tenet talk? Because we haven't even read the story yet.
Well, but the story is mostly about money. Is mostly about
this is about the movie itself.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I just would say is there's a reason that you need to see this movie in the theater because it's so cinematic. There's a sequence in the beginning of the film with a bunch of people, and I was thinking about Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh my God, I know exactly what you're thinking.
There's a scene in Bohemian Rhapsody that's supposed to be this beautiful epic scene where the band comes out on stage and plays. And the audience in the background is all moving together because it's just a bunch of CGI dots.
This thing had like 20, 30 people to have as reference, and then the whole crowd was just CG.
This thing, it was all
500 extras.
This more than that. It was all people, and you can see it. My blind ass could see it. I was literally just laughing a few times because you don't see this. You will not see this at home. They will not do a movie like this on Netflix, with no green screen. And okay, we want to go to, a small town in, freaking Russia. Okay, let's go there and shoot. Let's go do it.
I mean, they show it in the trailer, but there's a scene involving a plane. And when that scene started and it started to do what it does, I kind of just sat back and started giggling, going, oh my God.
It's a real
They're really doing this.
And I agree with you guys on that, but
it was a Mad Max Fury Road moment.
The movie's going to hold up when it comes out for
this movie will hold up. This movie will hold up more than anything that we've seen in a number of years because everything is real. It doesn't matter how good the CG is when you do a movie. Like I remember when Lord of the Rings came out and we saw Gollum for the first time. I was like, oh my God, it's stunning. Go watch it now.
It still looks good.
It looks good, but you can see the green screen. You can see everything. This is all real shit. So it'll be like freaking Lawrence of Arabia. It'll still look incredible and be incredible. And I think this is going to be a film that actually grows over time because it requires 2 or 3 viewings to soak it all in. I really do. I know you don't feel that way, Nathan. It is not Primer, but there are a couple of scenes that made me think of Primer watching it.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, Primer. I did. I literally thought that a couple times. The things that are negatives, because I've
because I've
shot my load all over it. So I want to say a couple of things that are negative.
Wipe yourself off.
Right. The first thing is you have to see this in IMAX, and it's not just for the visual. This is some bullshit Christopher Nolan stuff that has pissed me off since the Batman movies, where he likes to down mix his dialogue into the mix of the film. So if you don't see an IMAX,
a good calibrated IMAX,
with us in the IMAX, there was probably still a good, 10-15% of the dialogue that I had a lot of trouble hearing. I did hear it, but it's almost like I had to lean forward in my seat and really focus to know what they were saying. And maybe it's a good thing because it forces you to really get into the story and focus hard, but it annoyed the living shit out of me. So that one's a negative. The other thing is Robert Pattinson is in this movie, and I remember reading some stuff, back in the early summer. You're going to see why he's such a good choice for Batman. You're going to see in Tenet. He's
fine.
He's fine. He's forgettable, though. He's just fine. He's good. He does a good job, but it's nothing special. There are better actors in this movie.
Yeah, there's nothing in this movie from his performance that I go, oh, man, you got to see Robert Pattinson in this. Oh, my God. It's just like, yeah, he's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, those are the things. But I'm telling you, if you appreciate film, you got to go see this movie in IMAX because, oh, my God.
If you have a chance to see it on 15 perf 70 millimeter and you don't take it,
you're crazy. You're crazy. You should do it. So a couple things on the experience, go during the day. We did.
There were 3 people in our
There were
audience.
3 people. If you go with friends you trust, like we did, you can spread out and book an entire row. We've talked about this. My only recommendation that I learned the hard way today was if you have to pee really bad at the end of the movie, don't go to the bathroom that's the closest to your theater. Because if there are 4 other people in your theater with you, they're all going to freaking go to that bathroom. And that's what happened. I was like, there's too many people up in here. I'm going to go in the stall and just wait till everybody leaves, which is exactly what I did. So go across the lobby to the other bathroom. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, also don't pee during the climax of the movie. It turns out.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, because
no, I did not do this, but
Hector was with us and he was like, what happened? I'm like, dude, so much happened in that 10 minutes. So much.
He asked me the question, and I was like, "I don't. When did you just step out, and when did you come back? Like, I need to know where you came in because I still have to process what happened between then."
Exactly, because the last chapter of this movie is chock full.
Yeah, the last 30 minutes is just. I mean, if you step out for a minute, it's like it's going to take 2 or 3 minutes to describe what's going on.
But I really, really need you to go see this movie so we can have a conversation because
take a date night.
Well, let's talk about the money it's made.
Do it. Exactly.
Well, Labor Day weekend gave us our first glimpse of what a blockbuster looks like in the age of COVID. Nolan's long-delayed brain teaser. No, it's not a brain teaser. It's an actual brain test. Tenet was the first major test of the U.S. movie exhibition in the coronavirus pandemic. Now, with the receipts tallied, it appears that the Warner Brothers film passed the test. It opened with $20.2 million domestically in 2,810 theaters over the long holiday weekend. It was originally slated for release back in July, and they got pushed and pushed and pushed. However, the opening weekend numbers would be fairly unremarkable for a Nolan film under normal circumstances, but 20.2 million domestic debut has been considered a qualified triumph, and it's the first real sign that moviegoing is finally rousing from its 6-month slumber. Those numbers might have been even higher, but Warner Bros. Refused to allow Nolan's film to play at drive-ins in cities where indoor theaters were still closed, including New York and LA. For comparison, Nolan's bout with Tenet was closer to 2006's The Prestige with a $14.8 million opening, than the than Inception, which has 62.79 million opening. This is kind of just, I mean, to me, this article is just like, well, I guess it's back up and running. But again, going back to our experience, there were 4 movies playing in the theater. So even though it's at 25% capacity, it's playing on 12 screens.
Yeah, I think what's the most
4 or
impressive
5 times a day.
What's most impressive there was the per screen average.
Like $7,000 average per screen, which is
close to 8, which is considering
really
the time,
good.
the time where we live, and then you think about how many screens it's showing. That's pretty solid, and I don't know how to feel about that. I love the movie. I want it to make money, but it's also a little bit like you better go during the week, during the day, because a lot of people are going.
And that was also during a holiday weekend. So
yeah, it was. I'm sure it's probably going to drop by half by this coming weekend. I would wager. I mean, you expect a 60 or 70% drop anyway, even on a really high quality film. So I would figure that this number should drop by half.
At the same time, I almost feel like the numbers will stay the same because some people might go, well, I'm not going to go first week, but I'll go second week. That way it'll be lower.
Which is kind of what we did. We didn't go opening weekend. We waited till right after.
Yeah, and the wait was agonizing.
It was. But they also make a point in that article that this is going to be one of those movies. And Nathan and I were talking about this because he was questioning me about, we could see it, in a couple of months on home video. But I think this movie is going to be in a theater for months.
Well, and they have it planned because even at the end of that article of Zach's, it's talking about it won't have any competition until October 2nd with Wonder Woman 1980.
Right. Exactly. So. And even then, that's only 2 major movies until November, almost to Thanksgiving, when we get James Bond.
Well, it almost makes me think that what they're going to do is they're going to drop Tenet to like 3 screens, and then it's just going to be a Wonder Woman full theater.
Probably. Yeah, that would make sense. Or depending on how it's continuing to do on a per screen average. I mean, I could even foresee it splitting 50-50.
Which, side note, Nico, Tina, we got another trailer for Wonder Woman before Tenet, and they are showing way too much.
Yeah, we all agreed with that. It's basically just like vomiting the movie all over you at this point.
Hey, let's show the first, second, and third act of the film. What could possibly go wrong?
And I think they added that new Chris Pine segment at the very end. New joke.
I think they did too. Yeah, I think so too.
God, I wish I did not know he was in this movie. God, I wish I did not know he was in
I wish he wasn't in this movie at all.
Yeah, well, that too, because it undermines that whole moment from the first one.
The end of the first movie. Yeah,
unless it's like bringing Agent Coulson back,
It's exactly like that. Unless it's like what Nico said, and it's all like part of the villain's special ability, which could be a thing. I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting though. It's interesting to see that. I did not expect $20 million for that over the weekend. And did you read the international numbers? Because those are in there too.
The international, I don't think it was.
It is. I think it's 146 million. Something like
it's so a worldwide total of 146.2.
And do you remember what the budget for this movie was?
250 or 200.
I mean, so literally we're almost there.
I would say, weren't they saying 400 to 500 million to break even due to marketing?
Oh, it could be.
Because this thing has been marketing for literally a year.
So even with COVID in a single weekend, we made half the money. So that's, I don't know. I'm shocked. But I guess we have to stop it here because I don't want to say any more until these two see the movie.
Yeah, you guys are practically raised by wolves.
Yeah.
You tried.
Nice. Well, kind of nice.
That's pretty
well,
good.
Moving on.
It was as good as it gets.
Moving on, while Ridley Scott is returning to the dystopic sci-fi genre as the executive producer on HBO Max's post-apocalyptic series Raised by Wolves, next up for maybe a new Alien movie. In an interview with Forbes, Scott said that a new film is in the works, although it isn't likely to revisit 2012's Prometheus or 2017's Alien Covenant.
Oh, are you finally moving away from Damon Lindelof?
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get a new Alien movie and kind of branching out of that established canon. So that's gonna be neat. Scott is also filming on Scott was filming on an upcoming film, a historical epic, The Last Duel, which is halted, of course, because of COVID. Quarantine hit just as it went to production on the film, written by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Nicole Holofcener. Sinner now best friends turn rivals who were ordered to battle to the death. And that is supposedly going to be opening in October of 2021.
So I would watch that.
Yeah.
I like the team behind it. I like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck together doing stuff.
They're a good duo.
Yeah. I'm happy. I will say I'm happy he basically, by saying he's not going to revisit Prometheus, he's realizing at some point that was a mistake. Because
it absolutely was. Those movies were a fucking disaster.
Yeah, they were terrible.
I don't think we needed that backstory.
No, we didn't, because we had the backstory. It was just a ship on LV-426, and it was just there.
But now,
yeah, I felt like if Prometheus didn't end the way it did, I think it would have been better. But yeah, I never needed to tie into Alien, and I think he's right. Let's avoid this black spot in the franchise and just get back to aliens killing people.
So you think they'll get Sigourney Weaver?
No.
I would. I would like to see her like represented somehow, but she doesn't need to be in it anymore.
She's just going to be like the voice of Mother on the ship.
Right. I do feel like Alien is one of those franchises that you could do, more stories. You could just completely split away from all the crap you've already done, though. It's space. It's, whatever. Do something completely new. I think that could be cool. But Prometheus, that ending on Prometheus just felt so tacked on.
We're not going to talk about Covenant? Nobody remembers Covenant?
Not really.
Not really? Because someone went and saw that and got pissed off.
Yeah.
Because I hated that movie so much.
I know.
I can't even remember that movie. I know I saw it, but I can't
it was
remember
so awful.
I mean, you got the dude sitting there like naked playing a flute. Or
I'll do the fingering.
What the hell is happening in this movie?
God, I hated it. Yeah. It's like, we're going to go and find out who the engineers are, only for them to just be annihilated. It's who cares, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I hated it.
So we can let this sort of segue us into TV because I have been watching Raised by Wolves. And I guess did you do it because I've been talking about it, Zach?
I watched episode 1.
Yeah, because it's one of those shows. I feel like it starts off kind of slow, but
really, that's a slow episode.
By the end of the episode, it's like, holy shit, what is happening? Because it just changes speeds.
It went from 10 miles an hour. I texted you this. It went from 10 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour.
Well, and that's
quick.
That's why I was sitting here laughing, because you text me at first. You're like, talking about it was kind of slow or whatever. And then you text me 30 minutes later going, oh my God, this thing needs to slow down.
Not that it needs to slow down. It went, like, okay, we're here now. We're doing this.
It's I can't believe no one's talking about this show, though. I'm fascinated because it has some subversive elements to the story that I don't know where they're going yet.
Yeah, I messaged you that too, because I feel like you messaged me that and I'm like, I'm 5 minutes into the show. Don't do this to me.
Well, that's what you get.
Oh,
that's
my
what you
God.
Because I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there is an element to the show. I'm like, this is pretty ballsy to say.
It is. What are you trying to say right now? Are you trying to make half the country mad here?
Are you positive or negative about this? Because this is, how am I supposed to take this?
Yeah, this show gets into a space that I was not anticipating. But, the glossy, IMDb kind of summary of it is, these two androids land on a planet with the makings of human babies to try to populate this world with humans, and that's kind of where the story starts. And it's really all I would even say about it. But other than to say that some of the CGI is questionable, but it is,
at the beginning.
It's TV. But good Lord, the style is so cool. It feels like 1960s super modern, sci-fi approach.
So is it a new episode each week? Is that like kind of like Lovecraft Country?
Yeah, that's typically what HBO does.
Yeah.
So they did like, here's the first 3, and we'll get weekly after this.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 episodes. I've watched the first 2. I think there's another one up now on HBO Max, and I recommend. I'm in it. I'm more in this show now than I am Lovecraft Country.
I've almost dropped Lovecraft Country because
I haven't watched the
don't
new
care.
one yet. I liked it at first, but I feel myself fading a little
The
bit.
3rd episode goes really sloppy.
I'm gonna watch it.
The 4th one goes back into the main plot of the family of the Blightbright and the whole mystery in the first 2 episodes. So 4 circles back around there.
Okay. I mean, I'm not done with it. I just felt my enthusiasm waning a little.
Everybody's saying, "Oh, you guys see it," and then I finally see it, and I'm like,
well, because the first 2 episodes are really entertaining, and then I don't know what happened. But I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. But if you made me pick, you're watching this or you're watching Raised by Wolves?
No, Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves, 100%. Because it is more consistent from episode to episode in its story, for sure.
And I would just like to say that when the trailer came out, I'm like, man, that looks a lot like Elfin Lied. And boy, that scene really does look a lot like Elfin Lied.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not ripping it off. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna rip it off, but it's definitely, you could tell they took inspiration from that scene and turned it into what it is. But it was pretty great to see a live action version of that scene.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm not like mad that they did it. I'm just like, oh cool. This is like if it was live action. This is what it would look like. Yes, biscuits, I know.
All right, so moving on to more TV. Steven, did you see Mulan?
Yeah, Nathan and I did see Mulan. We did. And I feel that it's probably fair and important for me to allow Nathan to go first on this.
Steven hated it. That's okay.
Wait. Steve, I like that Nathan's comment. Steven's like, let Nathan go first. And Nathan's top comment about the movie isn't his own opinion about the movie.
No, I was like, Steven hated it. It's fine. I loved it. It's my favorite of the Disney live action. It's my favorite. And Beauty and the Beast is my favorite, like Disney world, like everything. And even with the Emma Watson live action, I loved that live action too. But
okay, that would explain that.
Okay, thanks, Zach. Anyways,
yeah.
If you are a huge fan of the animated, you're gonna have to separate yourself from the animated front and the live action. Live action, I view as a complete standalone from the animated. It's beautiful, really good characters. I loved it. I mean, what more do you want me to say? I know Steven's gonna knock on it, so go ahead.
So would you say this is a more realistic version of it?
Oh, definitely.
That's why there's witches and people turning into birds.
And why
it's
she
realistic,
suddenly
like,
has a magical power.
Like she could just harness her chi and be.
Yeah.
She doesn't train for it at all. She just unleashes the beast within.
Okay.
It's more realistic.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. It hit me really funny. Okay. So let me say the things I liked about it first. I liked the family interaction in the first 15 minutes or so. I actually liked that stuff. After that, it just struck me as really funny that we had just had an episode where we were talking about how streaming subverts cost by fast cutting and having like
over editing
of things. And then I watched this movie.
It's over edited to hell.
When you watch the fight scenes, they're cut so aggressively. They remind me of the Chronicles of Riddick, which was not a streaming movie, but had some terrible fight scene editing in it to cover up its shitty budget too. And also the thing that really killed this movie for me is Well, I mean, there's a lot of things, but it's the entire movie is on green screen. They don't go anywhere. I mean, if I can see the green screen, then everybody can see the green screen.
What's incredible
Well,
to
it's
me
funny because
is you say that.
they're
Yeah.
actually in trouble right now for where they shot on location in China.
Right. Yeah, right. But if you look at all the backgrounds, everything is CGI driven. You can see the lines around people. And there's sometimes, especially during the fight scenes,
Disney?
there's some scenes where the lighting on people is obviously like studio lights that don't match where the sun is in the background. And I swear to God, I'm not normally that picky, but I could see it. And I was like, why?
I mean, those are some big mistakes, though.
Why? Yeah. And, the only thing I could say about it after I saw it is okay, so that there is a crucial scene from the animation. I'm not the biggest Disney animation fan, but I do know this movie. I've seen this movie. I'm not the only one who's going to talk about it. I'm not saying I noticed this first because I didn't. But
you noticed it from the YouTube and then you brought it up.
Oh no, I watched this movie. I know this movie.
No, I'm pretty sure Steven's about to do the complaint that I've heard a lot of people.
Yeah, I've read a lot of reviews.
The scene where she becomes the hero that she's supposed to be is epic. When she cuts off her own hair with the sword and shit. In this movie, it's like, oh hey, I'm gonna do it. And then crossfade to her in the uniform and she walks out.
I'm like, power behind it.
You gutted it.
No.
You gutted it. And the other part is,
it was a decision that could potentially cost her life in the animated version. And then this is just like, all right, gotta go.
And I also question now, it would be different if you weren't going for realism, but at the end of the movie, and I know they're trying to make a statement with it, but when she's in her armor, and she like becomes the woman that she's going to be and strips every fucking piece of armor she has off and goes back into battle, whatever realism that this thing tried to have got shot right up the butthole, because that is so, and she's wearing a really beautiful dress under the armor, under it. Well, you know what I mean.
But if you miss the point in the movie where she's dropping the man character.
No, I just said that. I get it. I get the reasoning.
But if you're saying it's more realistically,
be realistic.
Like, why the fuck are you taking off your armor? You're about to go into battle.
And
no one would realistically take off their armor if they're about to go into battle.
Now, if she slung off her helmet or something like that, I guess that would be a little bit.
You can see that, but
yeah, because I always had that problem with Captain America too. It's like, oh, he's a badass soldier, but every chance, because we want people to see his face, let's get him to sling off his helmet. So I don't cut Marvel movies any slack either. I don't cut that. So, but that whole sequence to me, it just sort of discredited any realism that you wanted to have. And the other part that really, really bothered me, and this is not the first movie I've seen like that I felt the messaging was really sort of undermines what the movie wanted to do. I felt this way with Booksmart last year. As much as I love that movie, I felt the messaging was flawed in the end. And this one was for me too, because Mulan is supposed to be the every woman who becomes determined to better herself and works hard and outworks the men around her and kicks their asses. That's the Mulan that I was aware of. In this one, she just has more magic. She has more chi. They call it chi, but it's magic, and she had to beat it down the same way as Rey beat it down when in the first Star Wars movie. That's why I posted on Facebook, she's a Mary Sue, because
maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Every time she needed to be able to do something, she did
it. She actually was 1 and 2 with it because most of that culture is suppressing women. So a lot of those women that we have around they're not going to go out of the norm like Mulan was or that one girl was, because traditionally the women in that culture are made to be a certain way.
Yeah, but they don't lead you to believe.
But they don't go against the grain, and they do.
They don't lead you to believe in the movie that any other woman has the chi, though.
Yeah.
Like, you don't show her mom having it. They don't show his sister having it.
She was just born with it.
Yeah, Nathan, you're shaking your head, but I've read over like 15 reviews. I tried looking for a decent review like, hey, I actually enjoyed this movie. I found one, and it turns out that I think they're on Disney's payroll or connected to somebody with Disney connections, but every single review that I read did not like this movie and made the same point
Like the
of
best reviews
every
I
Now, but hang on.
That's film critics. But like if I'm walking with my friends, like my Disney friends that I work with, or even flight attendant friends that I work with that aren't critics of films or whatever, just enjoying the movie, everyone that I've known on my friend group enjoyed it.
The best reviews I've heard of say basically it's fine.
To be fair, I was going to say, to be fair, I think the Rotten Tomatoes score is currently in the positive. So there are
it's
some
in the 70.
Yeah. So
75%. It's above Tenet.
Yeah, but the issue I have had with that, and this is I will agree on the film critic thing that I have had when I've been looking it up, is a lot of people that I've been reading have tended to lean into the cultural significance of the film as far as bringing people of color into the mainstream and that kind of thing.
You mean like giving Black Panther a positive review because of the cultural significance rather than the bad writing in it?
Exactly the same
thing I hate.
There was one review I read. I can't remember her name, but she was an Asian woman, and she was like, "This film made me mad." She was like, "It was like basically these white guys, which if you look, it's mostly white men and a couple of white females who were responsible for Mulan."
It's an Asian woman that directed it, though. I think so.
But
I thought it was a white.
Oh wait, no, it was a white woman. You're right. Yeah. I saw her. I saw her.
This reviewer who she did one of my favorite reviews of Pachinko, the book that I love. But she's like, this film made me so mad because it was basically like they watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It was like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if we made Mulan like that? And then that's all that happened.
It kind of feels like all the way to the scene at the beginning. There's a scene in the early movie and again later where she's bouncing and running across rooftops that looks very suspiciously like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, except Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon visually looks better. And it's, I don't know, a dozen years old or whatever.
It took 4 people to write this screenplay?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep.
This is what I will say. I Nathan said I hated it. I think hate is a strong term, strong words. It's not that I hated it because I didn't come out of it mad. I just felt like, in a couple of days.
Missed opportunity.
Well, I just felt like in a couple of days I'd forget it. It didn't stick to me.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. I know. And
furthers my, I'm not going to pay $30 for this movie.
Well, and Nathan and I will definitely differ on that. It's definitely not worth it to me. Especially if you really want to see it, you're a little over a month away, a month and a half away or whatever from seeing it for free.
Keep in mind, Nathan, Mulan is like by far one of my favorite Disney animated movies ever. So I really had high hopes for this movie, but everything
that's what I'm saying. Like Beauty and the Beast is my all-time favorite Disney movie. The animation,
and Disney messed up that.
And I was a little disappointed, but I did love the live action Beauty and the Beast. The only thing I did not like was the musicality of it, and using an auto-tune with Emma Watson was the one thing.
Boy, okay, I was the first one to say she's auto-tuned, and some people here said, no, you're wrong, Zach. No, definitely not.
Well, I wasn't going to let you.
2020, write it down. 2020, people finally agreeing with me again.
Well, I wasn't going to give you the satisfaction then. So
exactly. So the one thing right now that I think is really interesting, and we'll see how it goes, is that Marvel, and this is a movie that I was concerned with sort of racist stereotypes, and it feels like they're working against that, is the Shang-Chi movie, the martial arts movie that they're doing. Because if you look at the old comic books, they, can be a little bit on the not purposely mean-spirited, but there are some definite extreme racial stereotypes in there. Well, the main actor, the Asian actor that is playing that character, has come out and been ripping Mulan a new butthole on Twitter because he's like, it's like, and he said what you're saying, that it was put together by a bunch of white people, and you can tell because it's still full of like, oh, I've got to respect my honor and stuff like that. And he said that's just not as crucial in Asian culture as they make it out. and white people made, stories from, I guess, tales or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. I would never make a movie like this because it's just too easy to mess it up.
Well, keep in mind, people were not happy with the animated either.
I'm sure they probably weren't.
You know what else was controversial?
What else?
All right. Well, Disney made a controversial decision when, after twice delaying the theatrical release of its live-action Mulan, it announced the movie would go straight to Disney Plus in the U.S. with a third new date, which was September 4th, and a digital purchase fee of $30 on top of the monthly Disney Plus subscription fee. Now, preliminary data at least shows that Mulan prompted a spike in Disney Plus app downloads. Sensor Tower, an app download research firm, tells Yahoo Finance that downloads of Disney Plus spiked 68% from Friday, September 4th through Sunday, September 6th, compared to 1 weekend prior. Consumer spending in the app also spiked 193%, which can obviously be attributed to customers paying the $30 Mulan fee. That fee is not for a one-time rental, just to reiterate, it gets added to your Disney Plus library for rewatching. Interestingly, Disney Plus app downloads jumped a bit more by 79% for the first 3 days of Hamilton, which you didn't have to pay for.
Exactly. That's what that boils down to.
Yeah. Disney's Mulan and Warner Brothers action thriller Tenet had been coupled together for months as the first two big blockbusters that would prompt the reopening of movie theaters. Both movies were delayed 3 times each, but in the end, the two studios went in very different directions. Disney put Mulan straight to streaming for a fee. Warner Brothers released Tenet in theaters both outside the U.S. first and then in theaters on September 3rd in the United States, in the 42 states where theaters were open. Now, across the industry, many analysts will likely compare how the two strategies worked out. But Jason Reed, co-producer of Mulan, tells Yahoo Finance it's going to be really difficult to compare apples to apples, the numbers of the two movies. I think one of the difficulties going forward is going to be how we set the metrics for success. I'm used to Monday morning, you open the trades, $100 million opening, everybody knows you won. We're not going to have that. We're not going to know how many new subscribers there were. We're not going to know how many views there were, and there's all different variables for that. You got full views, partial views, multiple views, all those kinds of things, which we haven't standardized as an industry yet. Now, Reed does acknowledge that it's a little unnerving to be part of the disruption of releasing Mulan straight to Disney Plus in the US. He says, I grew up doing big theatrical releases, so for me, it's a little weird. The way that you weigh your marketing campaign and the way that you rely on social media is very different from how you'd release Armageddon or movies like that. It's a very different approach, and it's been a great education, he says.
So when Nathan shared that article, I'll be honest, it freaked me out at first because the headline just says that it jumped 68%. I mean, it was, that kind of clickbaity kind of thing where it made me feel like, oh my God, their subscriptions went up 68% because of this. I was like, well, okay, it's, game over. But basically they're saying they had 68% more interactivity over that same time frame the previous weekend, which is fine. That's going to happen anytime they release something. And the Hamilton example is perfect because that's something that came out for free. Yeah. And it had an almost 80% jump over that time frame that Hamilton was released.
Yeah.
And this guy, he annoys me a little bit because we could have those metrics if Disney, and because this is a situation where we could. Now, something like Hamilton, because it's free with the service, that's going to be challenging. How do you take the number of watches, like he said, or partial watches or whatever, and turn that into dollars based off of a subscription plan? But with Mulan, everybody paid $30.
Analyst person, there's ways to track this. They just either didn't think far enough ahead to put them in place, or two, they're like, we don't want to release it until it looks very positive.
That's it.
You
Yeah.
can make data tell
That's
any
100%
story you want
it.
to.
Because if this had $100 million opening, they would absolutely be touting this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
And-
that's the problem. They could ease. This is, and Tina, I know this is your area. Really, is this data collection and analysis? If they just put out how many people spent $30 for this movie, you would know.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
there's a reason that they don't want to put that.
There has to be. I guarantee you, in the backlog or in the back door of their data, coding, everything like that, their SQL, whatever they use, there has to be some kind of filter, some kind of logic that can easily pick out like how many people paid that $30 fee. And even if you what about rewatches and all that stuff? Okay, well, you can add in different logics, different filters, different however you want. You can create formulas, whatever. But if you just want to see who paid that $30, there's so many easy ways to do it.
Well, but they broke it out separate as a premium program. So it's not even, they don't even need a data filter. It's there. It's a separate program. They just, how many people bought a ticket?
That's one of the things that makes me iffy on any reports with, Disney's starting to come out with numbers. It's like, no, Disney had those numbers. They're starting to release those numbers because now it looks like they've hit the bankroll.
Well, they're not releasing. I just looked up a little thing 4 hours ago as a Bloomberg. They're happy with the debut of Mulan, but they declined to reveal any numbers, and that's the chief financial officer.
Well, I would think that that Fox, if they were their own company, would probably say they're happy with the New Mutants too. But
they're not going to say they're unhappy
with it, and then it's one of those things like, oh, thank you for the gift, Aunt Margaret, of this sweater. I'm not going to wear this sweater. I'm going to tell her I'm happy with it, but I'm not going to wear it.
But we also never got numbers for Trolls World Tour, did we?
I think we got a preliminary set of numbers, a first weekend or something. We didn't get anything after that as far as longevity, but we did get, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was
multiple sources confirmed that the first week of VOD rentals for Trolls World Tour has likely passed 50 million.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot.
So
quickly,
even back in April, there was numbers.
Quickly, as told by Gonzo, it says hello from Seattle.
Hello.
Hi, Seattle.
So yeah, I wish that Disney would just have the balls to tell us, how it went.
If it's not doing well the first weekend, okay, let's compare. Like the fact that they're not releasing the numbers for opening weekend, especially for this big of a movie, makes me skeptical with any numbers that they release in the future. Because again, knowing how to manipulate data can tell whatever story you want it to tell.
So my only thing about this is, and this is, Nathan liked the movie, and that's great. I'm glad he liked it because he paid for it. I didn't like it so much, but you could look at it. I think you can look at it, stand back objectively and look at it now. And even if you liked it, you could see this is not a Disney level quality-wise blockbuster that's guaranteed. It's questionable.
If it came out in theaters, I think it would have done great.
I think it would have done.
You think this was ready for theaters?
Yeah.
This was as ready as it was going to be. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I stand by this. This is the best live action Disney movie by far.
I feel like
it's better than Cinderella.
If the discrepancies that Steven pointed out, like the blurred lines or the lines between the characters in the green screen,
but I didn't see that. And I still didn't see it when I watched it.
Yeah, but if other people see it, then that's going to be an issue because I'm sorry, I expect a lot more quality for the Disney name. It needs to be very polished.
The Lion King, whether you liked it or not, the Lion King set a certain bar of expectation of quality of CG. I feel like if this movie had come out, it would have done
real people.
Well,
the Lion King.
I know, but they had real backgrounds.
There is a certain level of quality that the Lion King has that this does not have.
Yeah, it's like you can see the
I hate the
Lion
Lion King remake. I hate that movie.
Did you see Mulan, Zach?
Do what?
Did you see Mulan, Zach?
I saw like 30 minutes of it because it was.
He found it.
We found the 7 seas of.
Where did you watch it?
I watched it from the comfort of my computer right here.
Well, okay, but the point is,
I then deleted it off my computer too because I was like, this is horrible.
there are, I can look at this movie and I'm not even trying to like be like pile on or anything like that. I'm just saying I can look at this movie and see that this is why Disney threw it and chose this movie to experiment with, because it would have had a huge opening weekend and then it would have tapered off big time. That's what I think. So they were like, why not? Let's see what happens. Let's put this on Disney Plus and see what happens.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to form my own opinion of the movie until I see it in like December, but
or you can take my login. I don't care.
Okay, well then DM me, slide into my DMs, yo.
Oh, I got you, girl. I got you, boo.
But I'm not gonna say definitively one way or the other. I can say the reviews that are from people that I trust, or sources that I trust, but I won't be able to form my own opinion until I actually see it. So.
Well, I'll be interested to hear you guys' thoughts on that one too. So I feel like Mulan and Tenet are both movies we should revisit.
You know what's really fascinating about Mulan? So on Rotten Tomatoes, the original has an 86% critical rating and an 85% audience rating. And then the new one has a 75% critical rating and a 53% audience rating.
That's actually much lower than I anticipated.
It's not like, well, the main point is if you're doing a remake, you're supposed to be improving upon the original, right?
Yeah, but when you start talking about,
that should be the overall goal. Like we made this better.
Okay, I didn't like the movie that much, but I think you're kind of in some ways being a little unfair, because there are people who are going to hate this movie to start with because they took the singing out.
Yeah, I was
legit.
One of the reasons I was excited for this remake wasn't because I want to see Mulan made better. Like, no, I want to see it like in a different format. Like, this is like what I was expecting was one of those old time like traditional period pieces, almost like a Chinese drama or Korean drama esque kind of Mulan. And from everything that I've been reading, again, can't form my own opinion until I watch it. It fell very, very short of that.
So one other thing, and Nathan just rolled his eyes at me when I said this, but we were talking about it, and I was like, so this is supposed to be more realistic. Why is everybody speaking English?
That's another thing I saw is Disney doesn't even have the subtitles or captioning in Chinese for Chinese movie.
Really?
Like, yeah, people were kind of mad at that. They're like, there's one that was like, he got a screenshot or I can't remember the gender, but they got a screenshot of it, and it had like all these European subtitles and then all these European speaking languages, and it's like, I even had to look up what this one language, who spoke this one language, and guess what? It's in Europe. It's like so mad.
Wow.
Like, that's a little shady. Come on, Disney.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. I will say that the Jet Li is in it, but he's almost unrecognizable. He's good though.
How did Donnie Yen perform?
Donnie Yen is great too.
Good.
Yeah, I mean their acting is good. Their acting is good. There's no fault on them.
Okay. One of the complaints I've heard is that the main actress is like,
she's boring. She's flat.
Wood.
She's pretty though, but yeah, she's. I did not like her. Not really.
She's one of the reasons I wasn't too terribly looking forward to it at the end, because I know she came out in support of.
That has soured a lot of people on it, and that's something that's not arguable. That's a
PR nightmare right then and there.
It is, and that's that's like arguing that Tom Cruise is a nutcase because of his Scientology and trying to say whether that impacts Mission Impossible. It just sucks because it is a PR nightmare. Let's move on. What else we got?
All right. Early reviews for the second season of The Boys were released, and it was looking certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with a near perfect 97%. However, it's now being review bombed by bingers who are upset they can't watch it all at once. While the first season of The Boys was released on Amazon Prime all at once, season 2, Amazon has decided to release weekly. The first 3 episodes were released all at once, and then weekly after that until the end of the season. that has caused several people to negatively review it on Amazon. So the Amazon rating for The Boys is hovering around 2.5 stars. But they've also ordered a third season so they can figure out a different way to release it next time.
See, I put this story in here because I was curious about what all of you guys thought, because I know you guys binge. Nathan does too.
Okay, from a hardcore binger, this just screams first world problems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I grew up having to wait each week, so I don't like. Yes, I love that I can binge all 7 seasons of Buffy at one time. Great. I love that I can, when a new series comes out, Nico and I can just spend the weekend watching all of Stranger Things as soon as it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also not going to be butthurt if something comes out weekly and bomb it with reviews and that be my only complaint. Now, if they had different complaints or different reviews, like they vastly veered from the original storyline or the acting was awful, I could see that. But you're giving negative reviews because you can't be a lazy butt and sit on your couch and watch it all in one go.
What's so funny is when you were saying I used to have to watch it weekly or whatever, and I got a flashback of having to no DVR, pull out the VHS tape, hit record when I left the house, record like 7 hours straight of stuff, and then
rewind it so that you can record it next week. Yep, I used to do the same thing with Sailor Moon.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
So the thing is, and I'm just like you said, is I love being able to binge watch stuff too, but this is not new. This is the way Handmaid's Tale comes out. This is the way every single thing on Hulu comes out. And the great thing right now that people should actually appreciate, if you like TV, is there's so much out there. Like especially
this gives me a chance to actually watch catch up and not waste, or not waste, but not dedicate 8 hours of a weekend to trying to catch up so I can have the next week's conversation.
Exactly. It's because there are these issues, and we actually had this in the early days of COVID, where all of us were binging something, whatever it was.
So much.
And then Zach would sit over here and not say anything because he can't seem to catch up with us.
Because I don't binge.
Yeah.
There's 3 episodes of Raised by Wolves. I've seen 1. I take my time with TV shows. And if, things come out, I mean, realistically, the thing that I love about this right now, spoilery memes about something in the later half of the episode are not circulating.
Yeah.
What's circulating? Stuff I'm caught up on.
It's so much less pressure in the world to not get spoiled. Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely. Like when, I don't think it was Stranger Things 3. I think it was Stranger Things 2. When that came out, it's like, I remember me going into work and people being like, oh, don't tell me I haven't watched it yet. I haven't even had a chance. It's like, okay, well, I have no chance to spoil anything if we're doing a, week at a time.
I mean, and in the land of COVID, really, the thing I kind of like about it is that now Friday nights is like, oh boy, can't wait for that new episode because I have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I mean, but that can generate hype, and I mean, under normal circumstances, that might be annoying, but for me, it's like when the Last Drive-In was happening, it's like all week I'm like, oh boy, can't wait for another episode of The Last Drive-In.
And honestly, it helps me keep track of what day
it is. Yes.
Yeah, I don't, it's so funny because when all this COVID stuff first started, I was binging stuff. But I think I kind of binged myself out. Like, I don't want to binge things now. I'm kind of ready to watch a few episodes of this and then watch an episode or two of that. And because there's so much to see, and it just annoys me. I know why, Hulu does it, and now Amazon is trying to do it, is because it keeps people talking from week to week. Because this was
people logging in each week.
Yeah, this was, my argument with the way Netflix did stuff from, at the beginning of all of this was, how do you market a show? People are all in it for 2 weeks. You've got an entire season of work that was done, but people only care for 2 weeks.
It's like a candy wrapper, just a piece of candy, throw it away.
here's part of the problem too. And if you're paying for a subscription, you'd find people doing the free trial to binge through the entire season and then just close it off. Yeah.
Oh, you mean what I plan to do with Netflix?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just use a different email address and do it because I keep saying I'm going to sign back up, but I haven't done it because just haven't done it.
I mean, you're not missing much.
Yeah. I mean, I actually really love sort of the whole Hulu culture of shows. I'm liking it better. I wish that Amazon wouldn't buckle under this pressure, but I feel like they will. I had the sneaking suspicion that when season 3 comes out, the whole thing will drop.
Yeah.
And that will suck.
I just hate that people are being babies about it.
Yeah. The excuse would be, well, we're post-COVID.
Yeah. I just don't know. I haven't, maybe this says a lot. I haven't even started the new season of The Boys yet.
Not yet.
Episode 1 is slow.
We haven't seen it yet either.
Yeah.
So you all know episode 1's really slow and then it picks up.
Okay.
That's kind of that. I was gonna say that's not surprising, but actually, episode 1 of the first season was kind of crazy.
Yeah, so it had this. The whole season 1 had this perpetual motion, to where it was constantly going and going and going. Season 2 starts and they're like, okay, where do we go from here?
Well, I feel like The Boys in particular, and I don't know, maybe Nico feels this differently. But if The Boys show is anything like the comics were for me, is it had a short shelf life. Like I really loved the comics for the first, I don't know, 6 or 8 or 10 issues or whatever. I just remember dropping off way before it was over because it's good and fun and stuff, but it can't go on forever. I just sort of dropped it after a bit.
Well, once you're done dropping that, you can pick up some new Blu-rays.
I probably could because there's a couple of really great things here this week. I actually meant to stop at Best Buy today and was just too sleepy. I think also, side note, I think part of Tenet got ruined for Nathan because he got tired and grumpy partway through because we had to get up early.
So I go to bed at 3 to 4 a.m. Don't wake up till like 12 or 1 most days.
You had that I'm a grumpy baby, I need a nap look on your face at the end of the movie.
Stuff like this since the last time we did 12 Hours of Terror, and I was like, I'm going home.
That's totally what I saw. I'm like, so
and
grumpy.
I still feel it because I didn't really get a nap in, and I'm like, ugh.
I didn't successfully either. I laid down, but it didn't work out. So it's
like
fine.
I was laying down when Ada called, and I was like, I don't want to talk.
It didn't take for me either. It's fine. We'll sleep good tonight. Okay. So anyway, I was gonna go pick it up, but maybe I'll try and do it tomorrow. Is Ghost in the Shell came out in 4K. Best Buy has an exclusive Steelbook, which looks pretty cool. I don't really care so much about the Steelbook though, because I have the Mondo Blu-ray already. But the Alfred Hitchcock collection came out in 4K. That one's only 4 films, but it's 4 of his really, really good stuff. Superman, Man of Tomorrow came out in Blu-ray in 4K. I hear good things about that. First Cow is out. I don't know what the hell that is. If you don't want
A24.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe I'll
it was going to get released at our art house, but
Yeah, it sucks.
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah, thanks, COVID. So if you don't want the whole Hitchcock collection, you can get the Psycho 60th anniversary. But if you buy that standalone, it is not in 4K, which sucks. If you want the movie in 4K, you have to buy the collection. That's
at least it's the full uncut version now.
That's the thing I'm excited for. Is this movie has most of us have only seen the cut for TV version of this, so this restores it to its uncut glory.
I mean,
it's not law. It's only a few seconds of.
It's like 2 seconds, and I think it's just looking at underwear.
Yeah, something. Hey,
so, it's not like some big thing. It's just like, a bra.
Well, I mean, but you got to think about the era in which that movie was made. It's kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And also, just historically, I like to see the movie the way it was intended. The Naked City is out. Brute Force is out. I put Brute Force for some reason, and then Graveyards of Honor is out. I think that's a boutique release. I can't remember for sure. But there you go. That's what you can get this week. What can we get on the Funny Books? Nico? Funny Books?
He's trying to figure out how to unmute himself.
Perfect. Well, let me check the chat room here.
Okay, I got it.
Hang on. So a real quick note from As Told by Gonzo. He says, I worked at a theater when the Lion King remake came out. We would have sold out showing for weeks and weeks. So I guess the Lion King was... And I think the Lion King did make really great money. I don't remember the exact...
Because
Yeah,
Zach,
it's
It only
stayed.
made over
getting-
$1 billion.
It
Yeah,
stayed in
Zach
theaters for a
kept
while.
getting mad each time that it was on the box office breakdown.
Every time.
Every time.
I hated that movie, and they just kept making money, tons of money.
I feel like I haven't seen it. I've just seen scenes from it. It looked... I mean, the CG is pretty damn good. Don't know about the movie, though.
It's definitely a lot slower pace. It's shot for shot for the animation, but it's way slower pace feel.
Maybe it's something to do with that transition.
No,
CG.
it's literally just like they
Slow
wanted to do
acting.
it shot for shot, but then it's like, oh, we got to add this in there too. We're gonna make it more realistic by doing this. It's like nobody cares.
Nico,
It's
what
like
do we got
in the
funny
original
books?
animation, an example.
All
would
right,
be
all right,
like-
all
All
right.
right, all right.
We've hit that already. Let's
Okay.
move on to funny books.
So I think the most interesting book that's out this week is going to be Rise of Ultraman, number 1 of 5. Marvel Comics has the license to do Ultraman comics right now, and they're starting.
That's crazy.
They're starting with a new issue, Ultraman, Rise of Ultraman, number 1 of 5, co-written by Kyle Higgins, who basically reinvigorated Power Rangers as a comic book franchise. So he's got that tokusatsu, Japanese tokusatsu credit behind him. I hear it's pretty good. Also for Marvel, Marauders, which is my favorite X book right now. Issue 12 is out. And let's see, if you're really interested in more Bill and Ted, there is a Bill and Ted comic series from Dark Horse. Bill and Ted Are Doomed, number 1 of 4. So that one just started up. And yeah, those are the main books that actually catch my fancy.
I like the name of Bill and Ted Are Doomed. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So what's your pick this week?
I would say Ultraman.
Ultraman. Cool. I
Surprise.
think no big surprise there. Are you guys going to get the Ultraman movie and TV collections that are out there? Because there's a
That's
lot.
up to him.
I have the original Ultraman series on DVD. I don't know if I've decided to upgrade to Blu-ray yet on that one.
Mill Creek is putting out some beautiful.
Mill Creek has a lot
that's-
of not just like the original, but like several of the Ultraman series. So
I think my understanding is they have the rights to everything Ultraman, and by the end of it, they're going to have put out everything that has ever been an Ultraman. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
What I really want is somebody to start doing a Kamen Rider series on Blu-ray.
I would love Kamen Rider coming over here, or if I would love that.
Based on you guys' recommendation, speaking of anime stuff, I am following 2 Avatar: The Last Airbender Blu-ray box sets on Mercari and eBay, waiting to see which one gets the cheapest. Because it's pretty cheap right now just to buy the standard set because everybody wants that steelbook.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That steelbook is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, but I don't even know the show other than the handful of episodes I've seen. So I'm just, this is a blind buy basically. But I if it comes out cheap enough, I will get it. And maybe.
And if it doesn't, just hit us up because I have all of it on Blu-ray.
Oh,
I have the Blu-ray
Okay.
too.
well then I can still borrow it from you guys
Yeah, there
anyway.
you go.
Or you guys can just come over here and we could binge it.
Yeah.
That was Tim.
No, we have to do it every
All right.
week. We have to do it every week.
one episode a week. That's it.
All right.
One episode a week. All right, let's bring this thing to an end.
Yeah.
You guys got to check on the puppy and look at Nathan.
Yeah.
He needs to sleep.
Nathan's getting
I am-
grumpy faced.
I'm
All
very
right.
sleepy.
So, Nico, where do we find you on the internet, sir?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram under Nico Scream and IKOSCREAM. Check out me posting about the food we had last night at Food Trucks.
Oh yeah, that looked delicious.
That's so good.
Nathan.
Find me on Instagram, Nate_R_70. You can find me on Switch, Nate70471, and you can find me here on Wednesdays mostly.
You don't have anything else to do.
No, my life's boring.
Yeah, same. Tina.
You can find me Instagram and Twitter under Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR, and make sure to follow the Pupperino at the.shadow.pupper.
Zach.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. And you can find me on Discord as well as Steam. I'm a dangerous mute lunatic. I play Warzone, Dead by Daylight. Recently just got Ukulele and the Impossible Lair, Strange Brigade, Among Us,
So
Killing Floor 2,
okay.
Jackbox. I
He
play a
doesn't
lot of
play with
games more
us.
than these
That's
guys.
true. Yeah. Basically, Nathan and I, you can find us both on the Switch. Like if you go to under Dead by Daylight, I go by CSmash. Nathan, you're just using your regular name there, right?
Nate 70471.
Yeah. So we play a lot of Dead by Daylight and a good amount of Friday the 13th. That is our jam right now. You can also find me at Off the Shelf Movie Night on YouTube and all things CultureSmash. So I want to say quick thank you to the interaction we got from As Told by Gonzo.
Woo, thank you.
In Seattle, right?
In Seattle.
Yeah.
So we will see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.